folks, welcome in to another edition of the Hoops Betting Hour. It is Saturday, March 20th, 2021, day 2 of the NCAA tournament. We're back here and better than ever here, 9 a.m. Eastern, getting you ready for another day of college basketball. Yesterday is an interesting day. A lot of crazy games. We'll recap a few of them, get into today's action as well. I'm the Big Man on Campus. We are presented by Pickswise and powered by FanDuel. Donnie Rightside joins me. Donnie, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Had a really good day going until the late night card where I got a couple games that didn't go my way late on some 50-50 opportunities. So coming back today, had a great day, day one. Lost a little bit of money yesterday. So back on it today to see if I can get back on the right side of things. So for the tournament, I'm trying to pick just about every single game. And I'm down a little bit over $100, which again isn't bad if I have already, 20 bets in. So try to flip that over and see if we get on the positive side today.
Lot of games.
Yeah.
Donnie, I don't know if that's normally something you do. I'm surprised
Never
you're doing it.
Usually one a day, but again, I'm untethered now. Like, content is so much fun to do when you can pick every game and have fun and see where it goes, and that's what I'm doing.
That's what we did yesterday. That's what we'll do today. That's what we'll do tomorrow. That's what we'll do Monday. So happy that you joined us. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, I'm not sure what you're waiting on. Hit the subscribe button so you know all the Pickswise videos are out. You can check us out. You can check out the other things that are coming out as well. Make sure you check it out Pickswise. But Donnie, you mentioned the nightly games. The day games, I don't think were that surprising outside of Oral Roberts beating Ohio State wildly. Oral Roberts was an easy winner. If you had the Oral Roberts plus 16, you never really had any issue. They win the game outright. You get a great look, Donnie, there at the end. I mean, Dwayne Washington, that's the guy you want shooting the ball. But, unfortunately, Donnie, they were 9 for 18 from the free throw line. Just not good enough. And they struggled defensively at times all year. Big-time win for Paul Mills and Oral Roberts, 15 seed moving on.
Yeah, so let's set the stage for the Ohio State game, right? Late in the game, and I'm not even talking about, what happened before. I love last possessions of the game in a tie game. You have a team in Oral Roberts that's in the double bonus. You have 5 players that can get to the rim anytime they want against Oral Roberts, get fouled, get a layup, kick out for a wide open jumper. And time after time again, you're telling me that an Ohio State kid couldn't get to the rim or get by anybody, and the best shot he can get is a step back 3. I love that Ohio State lost because they did that. I really did, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't shoot the ball well yesterday. 5 for 23 from 3, 22%. I mentioned before, Donnie, when shots aren't going in from every place as they normally have with them, they're going to struggle. They aren't good enough defensively a lot of the time. And look, you mentioned the threes. That was obviously an issue, but you lose by 3 and you miss 9 free throws. You just can't win games against teams in this tournament doing that. And you look at Abeline and Asmas yesterday, 59 of the 75 points. Those two are terrific, and they were terrific again yesterday. You're right, though, the nightly card. I mean, San Diego State, that might have been the worst performance I've seen in some time in a tournament game. That was laughable. They couldn't hit water to boat if they had their hand right above the water.
Yeah, and that was the whole cap on my San Diego State action was I love the fact they got a week to prepare. They're going to get so many wide open looks, but if you scored 3 points over the final 10 minutes in the first half, it was over. It was a wrap. They were so bad last night. And I guess, hey, credit to Syracuse. They're big, they're long, athletic, and they just say, hey, if you're not going to make 3-point shots, we're going to beat you every time. San Diego State made no 3-point shots, and they got crushed in that game.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, San Diego State was 4 for 30 from 3. I think it was about 9 minutes to go. I mean, they were up at one point at 18-14, and then from then on, it was just a rout. Buddy Boeheim, who, Donnie, you got to admit, Buddy Boeheim's a tough guy. He's a hate-the-face kind of guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's a Boeheim, and I'm glad I wasn't up even to watch the final score of that game because I'm pretty sure Jim Boeheim's press conference was one for the record books there.
Yeah, nobody believes in us ever.
Here we go again. You never say we should get in. And I got my glasses on. And, hey, maybe in 48 hours we might get another win. I'm pretty sure it went like that.
Yeah, Syracuse 15 for 27 from 3. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. A couple other notables. What a second half for Houston. They rout Cleveland State. If you had Houston, you were kind of a little worried in the first half. They struggled a little bit, but what a by the way, we had that team total under for
oh my
Cleveland
God.
State. That's a brutal loss.
Oh
they
my
hit a
God.
3 with like 30 seconds to go. It was just
a deep 3. They hit 3.
Yeah.
I'm talking, they hit like 3 deep threes in the last 5 minutes, which would drive me crazy because you started the half and they had like 8 points 10 minutes in. I'm like, we got this. There's no way. And the best part about it is Houston doesn't foul. So there was no 1-and-1 opportunities even late in the half for Cleveland State. And they hit that. I'm like, I need one stop for a push and a deep 3 goes down. I'm like, get out of here on this stuff.
Also, Donnie, one other one. There were some bad performances yesterday, mainly Ohio State. North Carolina was laughable. Yeah. I think arguably one of the worst performances, though, was Purdue. I mean, what was that? I mean, Matt Painter was completely outcoached. Donnie, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say it public. I said it last night. I had Purdue in the Final Four. Like, I thought they were a team that could really do well. Like I thought that, and with Ohio State losing, I thought – this is a bracket where, or who lost in that conference? Was it Ohio State to UC? Yeah. It just a gutless performance. The under, it should have hit, but it went to overtime. Just brutal. Brutal. That was a brutal one for me.
No, I mean, a lot of brutalness in that game. I actually had a team total over that I bet live for North Texas, and thank God it went to overtime in the second half because they only had 28 points. I needed to get to 30 or 31 to cash. They went to overtime and just absolutely wrecked Purdue in that game. But if you could have picked a hand-picked matchup for Purdue, like we know North Texas usually struggles to score. Yeah, they play good defense. You just put that team away and say, we'll just play some, and they couldn't do it. And they couldn't make any free throws late in the game, which killed them, which is why that game shouldn't even went to overtime.
It's so true. Like we talked about it. Like they run the same offense. Like they're slow. Like
yes.
Like I said it last night. Like Purdue, I don't know what happened to that. Like I know they're not an elite defensive team, but North Texas just kind of runs the ball through that guard Hamlet and shoots a lot of jumpers, and they're not very deep. I don't know what went on. It's just weird. But Donnie, day 1 is made. Day 2 is made. Now we go to day 2, and we try to get back after it.
Yeah, I have a lot of team totals, a lot of unders to mix in here. Very few sides here, but I do have one side that's going to come up in just a few moments, similar to my Colgate first half, where if this team hangs around, they'll be decent, but if they don't hang around, they're going to get smacked early. So that
was one we did well in. You had the first half, we had the full, I had the full game. That ended up being a good one for us. So let's get into it. Let's break down this card, Donnie. But before we do that, why don't you tell us about the Pickswise picks contest?
Yeah, Pickswise contest. Johnny in here in the chat box, Jeff, trying to give you some advice here on how to win this tournament. Each and every day, the guys are going to make the picks here. 9 different experts, including John Rothstein, Rashard Phillips, Megan Making Money, and also Jeff, the big man on campus, Nadu. Low and slow might get the chicken here because I know you have an ace in your back pocket here if Texas ends up advancing and winning this tournament. But keep in mind, all the picks are up for the contestants on the website at Pickswise, so you can check them out, cheer them on day to day, early in the tournament. This is, I guess, like in golf, right? Saturday is like moving day, so we're going to move around, make some picks, and see if we can move up that list. But still early in the competition. What are you, 1 and 2, I think, overall in the competition, it looks like?
I started out 1-0, and then yesterday I had North Texas is on the total under, which was rough. And then but listen, Johnny's in here trying to tell me the rules like I don't know them now. I know the rules, Johnny. Okay?
Listen to him, Jeff.
But again, there's a deadline. You can't. Unfortunately, I was kind of unaware of how it worked until I can't put any more picks in. Now that as we go forward, I will put 3 picks in. We go over every game on this show. I don't have a problem putting out picks. It's not that big a deal. Listen, I would really love to see the mailman guy win. I think that's a cool story, frankly. But if he, there's plenty of time. And I'll let the other people. What's the other people's records, Donnie? Can you give me some records?
I don't know. Somebody was 0-5. It's a big mix match, like 2-1, 1 and 2s, 0-5,
Still early.
2s. Yeah,
Still early. Yeah. Still early. We got plenty of picks. And there's deadlines, guys. We have deadlines. Like tonight, we have to have the picks in by a certain time. So, check out the contest. It's a cool thing. What Pickswise has done is they found handicappers that'll put picks in, but then they picked one, random listener. And the guy's like a mailman from Pittsburgh. So, he has a shot to win as well. So it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, but we'll get some cool stuff out there, and check out the contest every day.
All right, let's get into the card here. We're going to start right away at 12:15 here on a Saturday, Jeff, 783, 784. That is Georgetown and Colorado. FanDuel opens up at a -5 in the favor of Colorado. Now today it sits at -5.5. Over under, Jeff, 138.5 drops to 137.5, and that just happened a few moments ago. Looking at these two teams, Jeff, I know everybody's hot on Georgetown, riding high into the tournament. Colorado, a little bit of a disappointment out there in the Pac-12, but hey, Pac-12 coming on a little bit strong here, Jeff, in the tournament, so maybe that gives Colorado a little boost. If I'm looking at this game, I really don't like to take favorites all that much. I do think Colorado takes this game down, but I'm actually going to look, Jeff, toward an under in this game, and I got it just before the show started, 138.5. Looking at Georgetown's defense through the Big East tournament, we usually look at their offense, right, Jeff? Only 56 points a game that they've given up, and then if you flip it over to the Pac-12 tournament and Colorado, Jeff, 66 points a game. I think both of these teams, and it looks like the MO is everybody gets real jittery in the first half. Nobody plays well, and then they start to kick it in the second half. I'm going to go under 138 in this first ball game. What are we looking at, Jeff? Colorado, Georgetown.
Yeah, the only concern there is just Georgetown getting hot. They're going to shoot a lot of threes, but there's a good thing there, Donnie. They might not make shots either, and really struggle. So you're banking on that because that's their only. That's mainly their key to offense. Making threes. You look at their point distribution, Donnie, 35% of their points come from the three-point line, which is, not ideal. They also want to hit the glass hard, Georgetown. I've kind of talked about it. I felt like this is a game, and I think we've talked about it. If you're Ewing, Donnie, you want this game on Monday or Tuesday, not Saturday.
Correct.
The momentum is gone now for Georgetown. It's going to be a tough way to manufacture offense, threes and offensive rebounds. This is a physical Colorado team, as we know. This is a team that obviously has a little chip on their shoulder after that embarrassing loss I think they thought they had. And I think they have the best player in the court in McKinley Wright. I like Colorado. I wasn't crazy about the number. I think if it were like 3.5 or something, I'd be a little bit more interested. 5.5, 6 is tough. One good thing you have working for you is if you like Colorado, they are the number one free throw shooting team in America, so they can really kind of put games away by that. So we kind of talked yesterday. There were a game or two where you didn't really want to really love or throw something out. I lean Colorado, but I wish the number was just a little lower. It's kind of like the Loyola situation yesterday. Mm-hmm. Not really that we could get a number great to begin with, but it's kind of in that no man's land where I don't really know. Dogs did pretty well yesterday. What do you happen to have that? I don't know if you do, Donnie. Do you know how what dogs the record for dogs yesterday was? It had
no.
I feel like
probably
it was pretty good. Yeah, outside of the one seed.
Yeah, no, I would imagine it's pretty good. Taking a look at Colorado defensive efficiency in the country, top 30, Georgetown top 40. Also, I think the key comes down to this as well is you know as well I do. It's keeping control of the basketball. It's making sure you get your shots. It's not turning the basketball over. The issue that you might have here, Colorado, pretty good defensive team. Georgetown does like to turn it over, so that might come into play. But also, again, you bring up a good point. One team is 82% for the line. The only team better listed here is actually Oral Roberts. And then you flip it over to Georgetown. Ain't bad, Jeff. 75% is a team from the line. But also what I like between both these, they defend inside the arc. Got a couple big men, some shoddy racers here. Just need that little stretch, Jeff, right? 2 or 3 minute stretch where nobody scores. You set yourself up as a pretty good shape. It's hard. It's hard to take unders. But then the more you watch these games play out, you say, boy, why did I take it over this? They are really digging in. So I'm going to go with the under 138. Any picks for this game for you here?
That's the real concern, Donnie. If you get either Georgetown making threes or a ref that just wants to call every foul, you're not going to get these teams to miss. For me, though, no, I got to be honest. I think Colorado will win, but I'm not in love with playing much in this one.
All right, let's keep it moving here. UNC, I'm going to try to go down. We're going to keep it same way we did yesterday, Jeff. Keep it real easy. Right in order of the actual games when they tip off. Let's go to 785, 786, 1245 start. And that is between UNC Greensboro and the Florida State Seminoles. Opened up at -11, dropped to 10.5. Same thing we're going to see on just about every game. Opened up at 145.5, Jeff. Now we sit at 144. So when I look at Florida State, one of those teams, Jeff, that I call enigmatic, so talented. I love their coach, Leonard Hamilton, but they don't provide the best effort each and every night in execution. Say, boy, look at all the talent on that team. They should be much better than they are. But when you line it up against UNC Greensboro, you have a good defense and athletic defense. Here's what I look forward to, and here's the matchup that I'm trying to sink my teeth into. If you look at Greensboro, Jeff, 3-point range, not very good. 313th in the country at 3-point percentage. So what does that mean? You're trying to get a lot of your points inside the arc. That's not a good look against FSU. I mean, you're talking about a team that defends almost in the top 10, extreme length. So those shots that you're used to getting for UNC Greensboro in conference play, they disappear quickly versus Florida State. So instead of taking a heavy favorite or trying to take the dog here and hope they hang around or just an over-under itself, Jeff, I'm going to go with a team total under in this game for UNC Greensboro that sits at 67. That's the way I'm looking here. How about you?
You know, Donnie, this is why, for anyone that's not aware, Donnie and I have been doing shows together for a very long time. I've known Donnie for years.
Yeah.
Our families know each other. Donnie comes to our family Christmas party. That's how close Donnie and I.
Damn right.
This is why I love Donnie, because he really vibes the way I do, and we yin and we yang, and he thinks that way. And that is so true, what he said. Look, they may turn Florida State over, but I think that's the only real way to scoring here for Greensboro. And that's where over the week and as the weeks went on, Donnie, this screams to me like maybe Greensboro hangs around for the first half, and then Florida State in the second half just figures things out. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're more athletic. Kind of like Colgate, Arkansas. Yes. I think that's exactly how this game is. I wouldn't be surprised if at the under 12 timeout, this is like, 15-10 or something, Greensboro. Maybe they score a little bit and they create some turnovers. And then Florida State says, you know what? We're here. We're back. We're going to roll. I wanted to take Greensboro. I thought initially maybe Isaiah Miller could do something to keep them in this game. And I do ultimately worry about the point guard for Isaiah Miller for Greensboro. I think he is a tough kid, and I worry about the point guard for Florida State. They don't have one. I agree with you, though. I just don't think the consistent offense is there from them. I think there are stretches in the second half where they really struggle to score, Donnie. I like the number. I like where your head's at. I think they're just bigger, stronger, more athletic, and really long and elite.
Now also, and just to compound that issue, because you're looking for, if you're UNC Greensboro, Jeff, you want ulterior ways to score as opposed to, maybe you're not a three good, maybe you get to the free throw line. They don't get to the free throw line. And when they do, they don't shoot free throws all that well. So you would want to, try to compound and say, well, hey, there's a way that they can score more points. Now, hey, they could come out, light it up, play good, because again, most of the teams in this tournament, outside of some of the 16 seeds, they're really good basketball teams. They earned their way here, and you saw it play out yesterday. Look at Oral Roberts, a 15th seed. If you took it off the TV where you still do the rankings and the spread, you would watch that game all the way through and like, damn, Oral Roberts, top 10 team in the country. They can really get after it. No, that's not the case, but they're still a really good team. That's the way I see it playing out in this game. Would like a nice little slow pace to start where maybe UNCG struggles a little bit out of the gate, 3 points at the first time out, then you'll be set in your ways. But when I take a look overall, what I like to see and how I think the game is constructed, I would be surprised if UNC Greensboro gets in the 70s here, Jeff.
Yeah, so would I. And I think, for me, I think they have an okay first half. I don't think it's terrible, but I think in the second half, it's one of the, like we saw a couple games yesterday, Donnie, where like with Cleveland State and Houston, they just bowled them over in the second half. I think Cleveland State might have had like 22 points or something. It was
right out of the gate, too. First 10 minutes. Just see you guys. We messed around with you long enough.
Yeah, and I think that's how this game goes here. I think as long as Florida State can be good enough, just don't turn the ball over 8,000 times. I think they really probably pull away here and run away and hide, because this is a pretty bad matchup. You mentioned with Greensboro, they can't shoot threes. They literally do not get to the free throw. I think they're the worst team in the tournament at getting to the line.
Yeah. And don't shoot it well when they get there.
Yeah, the whole putting your head down and just getting into the lane. This is a gigantic team, a gigantic team. So, yeah, I agree with you on the team to honor. I think that's the right play here.
All right, keep it moving here. Thanks for chiming in, guys. 150 people watching early on a Saturday. I know this is going to build up throughout the rest of the show. It's a lot of fun. We have thumbs up, thumbs down. Hit that subscribe button, the most important thing. But we will roll all the way through a Saturday. And it's nice, Jeff, because usually on a Saturday, we don't get as many games because the Thursday, Friday is done. Yeah. This is day 2, which, again, with day 1 is so much fun to watch, tipping off early here. So we'll get into some action. Now, yesterday, this game, Jeff, this is the one I tried to give a little tease to start the show, has the same feel to me as Colgate did versus Arkansas. Make some threes, get excited, hang around, because if you are going to hang around, you're going to give yourself a shot. I don't like when athletes get, the full 40 minutes against teams that aren't as athletic, but you can catch them by surprise. And to be honest with you, I'm watching the Colgate game yesterday, Jeff. They have 13, 14-point lead with 5 minutes to go. I'm getting 4.5. I'm like, man, this is the easiest. Then all of a sudden I bring out the calculator a minute and a half later going, this is going so horribly where literally Colgate can't bring the basketball up the court and the other team's going the other way and scoring immediately.
No, that's so true. I had Arkansas, so I was pretty irritated with the first half. But yeah. Donnie, I kept saying to my TV, like right above me here, I kept saying, why are they not pressing? Like, I don't understand why Musselman will not press. And I wanted to strike Musselman because I hate Musselman. And I knew, like, why are they not pressing? And then they started pressing. But then, Donnie, in the second half, they come out and they stop pressing again and shoot jump shots again. What are you doing? But yeah, the press was brutal. I know at one point, Donnie, if you had another minute of second half, you may not have hit that first half. It
was like a slippery slope downhill, Jeff, where I was just hoping like they inbounded the ball and could just dribble around for 30 seconds and have like a dead ball turnover, because it was getting maddening. And the refs certainly didn't help Colgate out on a couple calls, but still, it doesn't matter. But again, when you're pulling out your calculator where you're basically a plus 20 number with 5 minutes to go, you're like, I'm in really good shape. And it turned really fast. So it was interesting.
How brutal was that foul? I know I lauded the kid for decision, but did you see the call when the kid flopped clearly?
It was on the elbow, yes. And then also you had a kid with about 2 minutes to go where Colgate drove to the rim and the kid just slid right underneath him and they called the charge. I was like, this is not going to work out in a good situation, because that's the difference between making a foul shot or two, stemming the tide. But everything was going against him, which was interesting to watch. So it brings into the tension here, Eastern Washington, Jeff, and Kansas today, which is going to start at 1:15. If we set the table here at FanDuel, opened up at 11.5, now down to 10. But how about this one? Most of the moves we see, Jeff, are to the under. 142.5 now jumps to 146 in this game. We know Kansas is elite defensively. We know there's a little bit of COVID issues, but I've seen Eastern Washington a few times this year play. This team can shoot the three. This team can shoot within the arc. This team makes their free throws at close to 80%, and that's what you need to stick around. Do I like the game and take the dog? I think they do, Jeff, stay inside of 10 points for the game. But you know what I'm more comfortable in here? If Eastern Washington, the same prognosis yesterday, if they're not hanging around at the half, Jeff, they're not going to make shots in the second half and beat Kansas. The better team's going to pull away here. Eastern Washington needs to be within that number at the half, so I'm going first half Eastern Washington +6, because if they're not covering, I doubt they cover full game. So I'm going first half here. What are you looking at between these two?
Yeah, a couple of things to keep in mind here. A couple of injuries. McCormick is back. He is back practicing. Question is, how's he personally affected? He's coming off coronavirus, as far as we know. Jalen Wilson will not play today, though, and that's a big loss. That's their best defender, Donnie. Not exactly the team I want to see if I'm Kansas. Now, we saw how good Kansas was toward the end of the season. Really kind of came in where they were looking like one of the best teams in the country kind of at that time, just with how they were winning and how they were playing. EWU is legit. They only lost one game basically after mid-January, one game to Idaho State. But outside of that, they were sparkling. Obviously, this is a big step up, but we know they are very good. And we've talked about, Donnie, how do you stay in a game as an underdog? Do you turn it over? No, they don't. 54th in the country. Do they make threes? Yes. Do they make free throws? Yes. Do they defend at a decent level? Yes. Everything they do is at a high level. And they have some real matchup issues, man. Tanner Groves is a good player. McCormick's going to be tested down there, especially coming off. We have to imagine he's not going to play a full 30, 35 minutes here. He's going to kind of be paced back. I think he probably plays 20 minutes. That could be enough for Eastern Washington to hang around and cover this number. I hate to just sit here and agree, but I think you're on the right track with some of these. I think they do kind of remind you of – you have to let me go first sometime, by the way.
I will.
But yeah, I think this is one where, maybe Kansas, they haven't really played in a while. It's been we've seen some slow starts with some of these virus teams coming off shutdowns. I think without Jalen Wilson, that hurts. And that's why this total has moved up a little bit to where it is. Donnie, do you kind of just think that Eastern Washington, if this game's kind of not a blow-up, but overlay, 67 seemed a bit low, 67.5. I feel like they can get to 70. I mean, they're not going
No,
to just be.
yeah. The only thing that worried me a little bit about this game when I was taking a look at is, Kansas's defense, because I know you look at this statistic as well. Equally, the offense and how they want to move, because Eastern Washington gets a good shot, they're going to put it up. But I like to look at the defenses and how their possessions go, because it's equally important how quick your shots get up to how you want to try to slow the other teams down. Kansas, Jeff, in the country, average length of possession on defense, 311th. You take a look at Eastern Washington, 292. So maybe they slow or stem the tide just a little bit, but I agree with you there. There are some shot makers for EW. If the three ball is going down, there's not much you can do about it, because we can always say, like, hey, they chase him off the three-point line. Sometimes you go 7 of 12 from three, you're on, man. Like, you're in.
This is concerning as well, all just the thought of that. If you do like Eastern Washington, which it is a solid, getting double digits, Donnie, one thing about Kansas, 304th in bench minutes. They're not a deep team, man.
No.
Especially coming off, you got to wonder about their conditioning in this game.
Yeah.
All right, F it. I'm going to take a shot with Eastern Washington's team total over 67.5. I think they're good enough offensively to score 70. I don't know how good they are defensively, so I think they're going to have to score to kind of stay in this game. I'm going to lean with a Eastern Washington team total over 67.5 here.
Let me take a look also, because that's an interesting point you bring up here.
They could wear them down late in this game where, and I don't know about them covering.
I want to see first half. What do we got first? So we got first half 31. See, I think that's legitimate. Like, I would like the 31 as well, because if they're not at, like, let's just say Kansas comes out and holds them to 22 points, Jeff, it's a wrap. Like, they're getting beat in this game. And again, with Colgate yesterday, we saw the same thing. Like, you don't really know how Eastern Washington's going to play, so you try to feel it out. That's where you're running your best sets. And if your jumpers are going down, you can get hot in the first half. 31's not a lot of points, so I look at that as like the demarcation line. If EW can get into the mid-30s, they got a legitimate shot in this game. If they end up with 22 at the half, it doesn't matter anyway, right?
It's so crazy, this game. It is so similar to Colgate, Arkansas, man.
It is.
Just with how they both play fast, these teams. They both want to go. It's a fascinating game. Fascinating game. I think they struggle, though, Kansas, just with some conditioning and that kind of stuff. They don't have a deep bench. I'm going to lean on the 67.5. You like the first half for Eastern Washington. I think that's the right way to play it. But even with Colgate yesterday, what did Colgate end up getting to? I think they had they ended up getting a 68. Yeah, so they would have gotten there. Yeah, I'm going to lean with that one here.
No, makes sense. And it should be fun to watch, because I like these type of games where it's that chess match where not very, very many people have seen Eastern Washington play. You get that feel of the first couple minutes. Like, a lot of people didn't watch Oral Roberts at all. And once you got to look at them, once those three balls started going down, like, this team can hang around. They get excited. There's a lot of guys that can flame throw from three-point range for Eastern Washington. All it takes is you get hot early, 3 of 5 to start the game in the first 6 or 7 minutes from 3. Now you got yourself a ball game. We'll see how it plays out. I'll let you go ahead.
Real quick, what do you think this? Because Kansas played a weird game. You see the game they played late against UTEP?
Yeah, like a throwaway scrimmage game where they had to pull it out late. Yep.
Yeah. Do you think that's kind of affects them here? As far as my thought is, they had to scare against a non-conference team late in the season, or are they more inclined to, kind of take this one a little more serious? Because we saw some teams yesterday that kind of screwed around, and like with Arkansas, I think they took Colgate kind of lightly, and that might work out here for you. I don't know if it's kind of I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Does that help or hurt them that they were?
I don't think so, because there was no it didn't matter if Kansas won or lost that game, or if UTEP won or lost that game. It almost was treated like a scrimmage, where similar to an all-star game. Like, hold on here, we're down in the second half. All right, let's turn on the gas on defense and beat this team. It's survive and advance. Like, there's no, like, Kansas, if they beat Eastern Washington by 20, they don't move up 3 seeds and get a bye. They're just looking to get in and get out with a victory. Here's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I think EW is legit. I'll just hope that they can get to 68. That's all I'm asking. I don't need you to win. I don't even care if you cover. Just get to 68 or more.
All right, how about this one, Jeff? I know this one's a close one for you. St. Bonaventure and LSU, if we set the table in this one, rotation 781, 782. Opened up as a favorite, LSU -1. We're now seeing -2s on the board against St. Bonaventure. Over under 144.5 opener, now down to 144. We're going to have differentiating opinions on this one, but I'll let you go first here. The Bonnies and LSU.
Yeah, I want to make this clear. I really love both these teams. I really enjoy Schmidt and Osunasuni and Lofton. Mm-hmm. It really pains me to pick against them. But I will be honest, at 2, I'm starting to kind of not change my opinion, but I just think this game is so close. I think it's probably the game of the weekend. It would surprise me if this game's a blowout either way. I think it's going to be a wildly interesting kind of chess match between Schmidt and Will Wade. I just know that in these kind of games, generally, that athletic, physical team will win. And I just was really impressed with what I saw from LSU late in the season with Thomas, the Smart, and Watford. And I think Days is a really underrated player for them, the rebounder. So you like Bonaventure here, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Exactly.
Wow.
I got a nice big ticket here on LSU, and I'm going to take them just on the money line to
you do have
survive and
LSU.
advance in this game. I do have LSU. I
Well,
love LSU.
I like LSU as well.
Oh, there you go. So there we go. I thought we were going to come out with a little bit of Bonaventure love, and I had to go against you.
I could have sworn I told you I liked LSU in this game. I thought it was a bad matchup for Bonaventure.
No, yeah, I just thought you would come on here and say, "Hey, man, I really like Bonnie's, and this is the way it is." But I'm glad you agree with me.
Interesting. I think the money line though is where, like, if I'm looking at betting this game at this hour, you might as well just try to get rid of the points. I really don't want this at like a 4-point, 3-point game with 6 seconds to go, and I either, if I have 2, I don't want to lay 2 here. I'm not crazy about that. Why do you?
I love Bonaventure. Like, if you watch them in the A10, they're a very good basketball team. They're not very deep on the bench, but they have the components you need: a point guard that doesn't turn it over, gets you into the offense, some athletic shot makers, and a big that can play and erase shots. Here's the issue: you can do all that in the A10 and have fun. Now you're going to get into guys that can get to the rim and crash into your big man. And all we know is if Osuna Suniyi gets in foul trouble, it's over. And it's going to be over really quickly. So I like, and you look, St. Bonaventure, 19th in the country in adjusted efficiency on defense, 14th in effective field goal percentage on defense. They play extremely good defense, but now the common term that Jeff and I use is you level up where the other team can do whatever they want on offense. It's hard to combat when you're the team that's saying, we can't foul. We can't get in foul trouble or it's over. I'll take LSU each and every time. Now, having said that, I'm on LSU's money line. It's still interesting that LSU is only a 1 or 2 point favorite basically across the board, because the way I look at this game is I have an advantage in LSU, but why is it only that -1 or -2? I'll take the money line. I'll live with it here.
Yeah, this is we see these all the time in the tournament. One team wants to go a mile a minute. The other team wants to play in the 320s, from a tempo standpoint. But you're right. And I've said that really since Osuna Suniyi got to St. Bonaventure. If he goes out with foul trouble, they have no shot because he is huge on both ends. He's a lob guy in the pick and roll, and he's a big-time defender and really walls the paint off. If he goes out, because we know what LSU wants to do, up and down, get into the teeth of the defense and create. But one thing I've seen with LSU on both sides, really from a three-point standpoint and from just getting to the rack, offense, everything they do offensively is fierce and hard and physical. I really like what they do on both sides. I thought defensively they were better than the general towards the end of the season. Did a nice job against Arkansas, and I think it's just a terrible matchup for Bonaventure. I will weirdly in a way smile if they win but I also say this: when I saw that Purdue North Texas game last night, I said to myself, why did I go against North Texas? They did
that was your boys, man. Yeah.
No, I felt like a rat, basically. I felt like, how did I go against them? They were my loyal team for 2 straight days when we started the show, and I went against them. But yeah, in this LSU game, I'm just going to lean on the better team to me from a better conference. How does that? Has St. Bonaventure ever seen a team like this? I look at their, you look at the games they struggled in this year, Donnie, that they lost. Rhode Island. Yeah. St. Louis, VCU, Dayton, not all really fast and up-tempo, but teams with good guard play.
Exactly, can bang down low. Yep, I hear you. I hear where you're going on that.
And I really think the player in this game to watch is Darius Days. I've watched a couple games with him, Donnie. He is a magnet on the glass. He gets every rebound. I think if he can just kind of stabilize himself down low, they're really an interesting team. So, yeah, I'm going to go with LSU. I'll agree with you here.
Let's do it. Keep it moving here, Jeff. 779, 780. What's that?
We like the money.
Yes, just get in, get out. I'm not worried about a missed free throw. I'm not worried about who's going to foul at the end of the game. Get in and get out. I'm going to take the talent in this game. We do know LSU is one of those teams, Jeff, you're going to leave scratching your head like they've really just played that way. So that's why that line is low, because LSU has the talent to get to the Final Four, but also the boneheadedness to get knocked out round one. We'll see how it plays out. Next game up, Jeff, 779, 780, Texas Southern and Michigan. Big number, as it should be. Opened up at 26 at FanDuel, now down to 25.5. Over under 142.5. I'll start with this one quickly because, again, this isn't a one we're really going to match up. Oh, I really love it either way. But I'm going to pick a side in this game, and it's actually going to be a team total under, Jeff. Not on Michigan. It's actually going to be on Texas Southern, a team that already struggles to score. But here's the matchup, and this is what we like to get into some of the nuggets here. Michigan on defense, top 10 in efficiency, Jeff. Effective field goal percentage, top 10 in the nation. You're taking a look. When you have an underdog, you think a team can score, you need to be able to shoot the three-pointer as the ultimate equalizer. Texas Southern doesn't do that. One of the single worst teams at shooting the three. So then you say, okay, let's get to the rim. Jeff, Michigan's defense inside the arc, top 5 in the country. They're not scoring today. Give me the under 58.5 for the game for Texas Southern. Go ahead.
Yeah, I hate to do this and say this time.
Go.
I feel like we said the same thing. Like, again, not that Mount St. Mary's and Michigan are the same team, but like that's what we said. But I'll tell you, is Johnny Jones starting to become a good coach?
Yeah,
like, I thought his game, like executions and like adjustments, are really impressive. He went bigger on Chung Kui, and Chung Kui was lost, man. I mean, they pressed. It was, and I think you probably try to do the same thing to Mike Smith here. This is a lot of points in a game. I hear
quick too, Texas Southern.
Yeah, I hear your thought. I think Dickinson probably eats at the rim. I don't think they have any hope at stopping him. I have said before, I think Michigan is a little vulnerable. They're not going to lose this game, but 26 points-ish is a lot of points. Texas Southern hangs around. I think they can – they're not going to do anything crazy. They're just going to try to get downhill, get to the line. That's kind of what they do. Slight lean. I'm not betting this game. We try to give an opinion on every game. I'll lean with Texas Southern. Donnie, one thing they're very good at, getting to the free throw line. I think that could stabilize them, keep them in this game, at least from a spread perspective. I don't know if Michigan is just that. I think they're just kind of worried about, let's get in here. These 16 seeds are sneaky sometimes. Let's get a win and move on. I just hope this is an 88-52 with 3 minutes to go. I'm not
let's see
betting
what we
this
have
game.
here.
I want to make this very clear. I am not betting this game.
Yes, you are. Jeff is betting this game. Make sure you, by the way, picks wise, if you guys are watching here, timestamp this because Jeff is betting this game and make this.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
How about this? Nuke Worker, only 27 likes in here. He's right. Now we're up to 30. Let's pump it up. A couple hundred people watching here live. And Ken Wagenhofer watched 2 previous podcasts and had 2 very profitable days afterwards. These guys need a bigger profile. They deliver. What Ken is saying here is very nice. But the thing that I think we enjoy more than anything is the sharing of information. Look, I hope I go 16-0 today because I have 16 picks. I hope Jeff wins the contest. But the goal of these shows is to not just rip off pick after pick after pick after pick after pick. Hey, what's your best play? Thanks and have a good day. It's getting information out there going, if somebody liked Texas Southern today and they go, you know what? Donnie brought up a good point. They don't shoot the three all that well, and Michigan defends at the rim. That's a tough game. That's it. Isn't that all we're looking forward to give you maybe a piece of information to try to decide your handicap? Because we get a lot of people coming here, Jeff, like, hey, that's all fine and good, but I like the other side. That's awesome. That's exactly what we like. It's sharing is caring, Jeff.
I think ultimately, and look, 5% of the pick population out there is, I don't care what they say, just give me pick. Like, I know there are people like that, and that's fine. Those people, I think, are going to struggle long term. You got to get to a point where when you're betting things you're betting, you have to know why you're betting it, why you want to bet it. We are here to provide you with info. I've done this for a long time. Donnie's done this for a long time. I think we've both been on this site for over a decade. I'm not saying I'm the best at everything, but I have learned a lot over the years, and I do like and enjoy college basketball. If we can deliver something that people enjoy, they're getting good info out of, that's the goal. Picks are secondary. Like Donnie said, you want to win every game. There are going to be days where that's just not going to be, unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball, as they say, but we'll try to give you the best info, and we appreciate you watching the show.
Exactly, Dimitri Church. Use your own brain. Exactly. Same way I am, man. If somebody brings up salient points, man, I am on it. Yes.
Yeah. Good call, Dimitri Church. What a great comment.
Nice guys. And so
It's
everybody
amazing
give this.
do that. What happens?
Yeah. Well, it is. It's a lot of fun to, use conjecture and try to go over. But Michigan and Texas Southern, again, I'll just recap on that. I'm going to sit on the team. And it's crazy, man. Like, I had a team total under, like me and Jeff, we're looking at games with team totals under 26 in the first half. You have to be wild, because I was doing a show where I was live on the air, and I'm going, they have 8 points at like 10 minutes ago, and I'm still sweating. I mean, I ended up losing, but I'm sweating it out. Like, how many games, Jeff, in a team total under where they have 8 points, 10 minutes in? You already cashed the ticket, and we had to sweat it out. So a lot of fun stuff to go each and every way, man.
That was wild. By the way, Chris Carter saying, how about a breakdown for Iowa? Hey, Chris, listen, we're going through the card.
Bang. Right down in time. Yep, we're going right down in time and order. So if you're coming in here on the replay, coming in knowing we are going each and every way, because if you come in here and it's not time stamped, and me and Jeff hit Georgetown, Colorado first, and all of a sudden we get down to Oklahoma, Missouri, like, wait a second. Now I got to just hit like, skip. Nope, we're going right in order. So if you do want to skip and miss a lot of this good information because you're looking for one game, at least you know it's in order, and you could try to get after it that way. Let's keep going, Jeff. 3:30 p.m. today from Lucas Oil Stadium, UC Santa Barbara and Creighton. Let's tee it up here with the FanDuel Sportsbook. But before I do that, Jeff, we talk about a lot about lines. We talk about winning bets. Hopefully I go 16-0 today. You know the best sportsbook to go get those odds is? Of course, it's FanDuel. And you know what's happening right now, Jeff? If you still have it, hey, Jeff, you wanted to sit out day one, the first four. You wanted to sit out the overall real day one, which was yesterday. Day two is today. Now's the time you want to jump in, $1,000 free bet. What does that mean for you? If you come in and bet $1,000 and you lose, you know what FanDuel's going to do, Jeff? They're going to give you $1,000 back. If you win that, they're going to pay cash on that $1,000. It's an amazing thing of what they're doing. If you haven't tried FanDuel yet, always be betting, obviously, over 21, Jeff, and be responsible here. But FanDuel, come on now, nothing better.
No, if you're in a qualifying state, make sure you're checking out FanDuel, the best in the business. Plenty of odds, plenty of options, so many different bets to make. And as Donnie said, with some of the, like I said, I mean, some of the future selections are cool. Get to the Sweet 16, get to the, Final Four, all that stuff. Those are great things as well. So a lot of good bets. Make sure you're checking out FanDuel.
All right, let's go. Let's break this game down here. UC Santa Barbara versus Creighton. And again, taking the numbers off of the FanDuel Sportsbook. Opened up, Jeff, -7.5 as a favorite for Creighton. Today, still sitting at -7.5. Over under in this game, 140.5 now, drops down to 137.5. And I can't say like, hey, at the opening number when it came in, you got these numbers, because we try to be fair as we're calling the show, where as of like right now, if I say I like this play, you can go to FanDuel and get that number. It's unfair to say, hey, you know what, I really I took the under at 140, but if you can get 137.5, good luck with that. It's not the way we're going to do it here. So looking at this game overall, Jeff, both of these teams do play pretty good defense here. Creighton does like to go fast on offense, but both of these teams, Jeff, very slow on defense. I'll let you start here with the breakdown. UC Santa Barbara, Creighton, does the favorite role here, or is this one of these teams that not a lot of people see? They just look at the big name, University of California, Santa Barbara. They must think, oh, I know Creighton. I've seen him before. What happens here?
Yeah, I don't think that's happened in this game. A lot of people like Santa Barbara to pull it off. I don't have any reason to go against that. I think Santa Barbara's definitely got a shot here to win this game. I'll gladly take the 3+ possessions. I think when we talk about quote unquote mismatches, Donnie, like we've talked about it a couple times, like a Colgate, Arkansas, or a Eastern Washington, Kansas. I got to be honest. I think Santa Barbara is the more athletic team between these two. Not even close. I mean, Creighton is not athletic really outside of a couple of their guys. I go with Santa Barbara on those wavelengths. And I've kind of mentioned, I think Santa Barbara is legit, man. They are really good on both sides of the ball. They defend at a really high level. They take really good shots, which is something you can't necessarily buy. When you're getting offensive movement with the passing and just everything is crisp, and you take a good shot ultimately, that's all you can ask for. There's different ways for them to score. It's not just all we could do is shoot threes. They have guys all over the place that can score. They play a really slow but just a crisp offense. It's nice to watch. They're an experienced team. They're well coached, and we've seen this conference, the Big West, pull these upsets off before. UC Irvine did it in the last tournament we had against Kansas State. I think a similar kind of situation here. So, yeah, I think Creighton's vulnerable. They've been inconsistent all season. I think that a guy like Ja'Cory McLaughlin will do some good things on Marcus Zagorowski. And I think outside of Zagorowski, I don't really love anybody on Creighton. I think Creighton probably struggles a little bit here. This is a great team as far as for Santa Barbara defensively. So I'm going to lean with Santa Barbara here. I think they hang around and cover the number, maybe win the game.
I like Ken's comment here also, playing in cavernous Lucas Oil Stadium. So that, that's always one of my things I do like to take a look at. And also when you took it from a Creighton offense, Jeff, they're very good on offense. Don't get me wrong, top 15 in adjusted efficiency. But if you look at getting to the free throw line, which they don't do that much, Jeff, and when they get there, they don't make any free throws. So that's a big difference there. I am actually going to lean on, again, getting the worst of the number, but hey, you got to be fair out here. I'm going to take the under 137.5 in this basketball game. And by the way, when I watch Creighton play, if you have like a basketball lineup, like you can look at guys like, man, this guy can really play just by looking at him, right? Like straight up, he's 6'4", he looks the part. Every time I watch Denzel Mahoney play for Creighton, I'm like, this guy is like cut out of central casting for, you would never pick him on the playground if you guys are all just like, hey, let's choose up sides. Like, who is this dude running up and down the court looking like he's, some old man, 50 years old with bad knees? He makes me laugh every time I watch him, but he's a really good basketball player.
Yeah, he really is, and they have a couple. Mitch Ballack is similar. I mean, yeah, you're right with Mahoney though. He's got the glasses and stuff. Yeah,
he looks like he stumbles around all the time. It's like, who is this guy?
But then he comes out, he just kills it. Yeah, no, that's you can never just assume someone's not going to be good. That's something in life. Never do. Don't just assume somebody's.
Don't judge the book by its cover, man. Exactly.
Yeah. I remember when I used to sell cell phones, Donnie, back in many years ago. You used to, when people would walk in the door, you say like, they're not going to get approved.
Exactly. Or I don't want to waste my time with this guy.
And then you'd run their credit, and it's like, whoa, like great.
And he's like, let me get 3 phones for the family. Like, okay, hold on here. We got a sale coming.
Let me get 6 Jones for the family. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, but yeah, I think the under. It's not great betting the worst number, but the game kind of screams. I think Santa Barbara kind of sets the pace, and I don't think Creighton has any major issue with going slow. I don't have much thought on the total, but I'll lean on Santa Barbara. I think the team that everyone thinks is going to pull an upset, and I think they may as well.
All right, keep going here. Iona and Alabama. Alabama is one of my favorite teams to watch in college basketball, so I'm going to enjoy this game. Iona, one of my favorite teams to root for. But this team just bores me with Rick Pitino, just doesn't have the same offensive firepower that they used to have in the past. Maybe they'll slow it down and play a little bit better in the tournament, but just getting there is actually the feat from the real MAC, the MAAC MAC. But setting the tone here, 16.5 as it opened up, still sitting at 16.5. Over under this game, 147.5. And I'm not going to delay or waste any time in this game from my end of, because I don't really like a side in this game per se. But Alabama, number 2 overall efficiency on defense. They should be able to handle Iona's offense, because I don't like Iona's offense one bit. But the one thing I do know, I don't care what the score is. Alabama's not going to change his stripes. Nate Oates likes to get out and push the basketball. I'm going to go with the team total over here, Jeff, on the favorite with Alabama at 81.5. I think they get into the 80s in this game, regardless of who's in the game. I think the tempo will be there for them. Constant three-point shooting. We'll see if Iona can return fire. But for my money in this game, I don't want to lay the big number, even though I do think Alabama can cover. I'm just going to look for Alabama scoring and doing whatever they want on the fast break.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to do whatever they want. I've noticed with Iona, they have that conference. I think you have to take some numbers with bated breath, because, Donnie, in that conference, there are some bad offensive teams.
They can't. Exactly. Like, they don't even run offense in the MAC. They're really
so slow.
Yeah,
look at the 4 games they won to win this tournament. I mean, they played some of the
rock fights,
brutal teams. But Donnie, look at the games where they played kind of more up-tempo, good offense teams. Hofstra's, Seton Hall, Morgan State, even Monmouth. They were willing to play fast.
Correct.
We see a total for Alabama in the 140s. It's hard to not take it over. I mean, Alabama is going to be up and down. I actually couldn't agree more with your pick. I do think Alabama is good defensively, and I worry about when you have an over here, this is just a game where Iona can't score, because they have some issues at times with that. I'm going to agree with you. I think Alabama gets to 85. That was kind of my thought here. Mm-hmm. It seems like anytime Iona steps up and plays, a good, really solid basketball team, they struggle to get stopped. So this isn't Fairfield or Quinnipiac or Coppin State. This is arguably a top 7 team in America. So Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think Alabama's team total makes a lot of sense here.
Jeff, do you agree with
81.5, good price.
Never bet against Rick Pitino in March.
Devin's a good guy. He lives on Puerto Rico. He's a good dude, but I can't go again. I mean, I guess he's not wrong.
I guess if you had Louisville, but like I said, yeah, exactly. I guess he's saying with the spread. So yeah,
it's a lot of points. As far as do I think Iona going to win, and I'm worried about Pitino? No, I'm not. It's a bad draw for Iona.
It's really bad. It's actually a really, really bad draw.
This isn't Louisville where you're a 2 or 3 seed and you're playing Iona every year. That's not the situation now. You're going to have to realize you're going to lose a lot in March, Rick.
Resurgence, Jeff, for the Pac-12 here next. 771 Drake, 772 USC, setting the tone here. 6.5 as we opened up at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Drops down to 6. 138.5 down to 135.5 in this game here, Jeff. I'll let you set the table for this one. USC, Pac-12. Hey, stink. Here comes the Pac-12 winning some basketball games. And now USC, probably the most athletic team, or at least NBA athletic team, I should use the term, coming out of the Pac-12. But does Drake get the game under their belt, get some guys back from injury, had the comeback, hard-fought victory? Now you go up against USC. Too much at this point? Or you believing in Drake? You're saying, hey, hold on here. USC's got the talent. They should be able to handle this.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think this is the end for Drake. I mean, it's USC's not really been talked about too much, but what we know about them is the Mobleys are terrors down low, twin towers basically. Drake, I think is going to be conducive, not as far as scoring, it's conducive to just going to be a lot of mid-range jumpers for Drake. I think it's going to be a lot of bad shots. I think there'll be some stretches where they don't score. They're going to have to make shots over a very long team, and I just don't think it's real conducive to them scoring. I worry about them. I'm not really sure if they can guard USC down low either. I think this is where it runs out for Drake. Yusufu's been honorable, and they played well. I thought they were lucky to get a win the other night, frankly. It was one of those just really low-scoring games, and they were able to find a way to get it done. But, I think USC is probably the play here. I would probably look towards laying the 6. I just don't really trust Drake. When I look at what they did to really get here, I thought you could make a strong case that they just weren't that strong. They didn't really do much in the non-conference. They really haven't seen a team quite like USC, and that's my issue. I worry about the step up and level up here.
And I agree with you, because what do we look for, Jeff, as a mid-major type team like Drake? You want to have a really good three-point shooting team, which technically they do, Jeff, percentage-wise, about 37% on the season.
But against a team like USC, you got to think that's going to –
Yes, hear me out. Yep, hear me out. USC, I mean, again, and Drake doesn't shoot volume. This isn't like one of those teams, Jeff, we see like VMI that shoots 50% of their shots from three-point range. If they get hot, they can stay in the game, right? But if we take a look at this game, the way it matches up, similar to what we've looked at in the past, if you don't shoot a lot of three-point shots, that means you're pushing it around, you're trying to get looks down low with your bigs. Jeff, USC, number 2 in the country at defending inside the arc. So if you're a team that doesn't shoot a volume amount from threes, which again, taking a look at Drake, 302 in the country, not percentage, just firing up three-point shots, you're not getting to the rim and scoring. It's just not happening. So that translates to me, teams that struggle, which Drake should struggle against USC. I'm going to sit on the under. And again, this is the theme of the day for me because I'm trying to be fair and use the FanDuel numbers. I'm going to take the worst of it, Jeff, and take the under 135.5 in this game.
Yeah, I think talking about sports. That's actually a funny name, actually, because it's so direct. They are talking about sports. I like what he says. I think it is bully ball. I think this is – USC is legit, man. Mobley is a NBA type of player.
Yes.
Drake hasn't seen a team like this. This ain't Bradley or Southern Illinois or even Loyola for that. Loyola's really good, and Loyola pretty much owned them. So, yeah, I'm gonna. This isn't Wichita either. USC is legit. I'm gonna think they win by 10. I think this is kind of like the Villanova game last night, where USC might have some question mark coming in, and we don't know what and. Somebody, Ken, he says, here's my area of knowledge. Drake's real banged up and even worse at the Thursday. So
there we go. Good job, Ken. I like it.
Maybe they have – and he also says he thinks Hemphill re-injured himself. I think this is one where USC pull away and win by 10. I think there won't be a lot of attention paid to this game, but I think when you look at it at the end, it's just like 73-61, and you're saying, damn, why didn't I lay the 6 with USC? USC's really good. They could give Gonzaga a game down the road.
No, they certainly can. We'll keep moving down the list here with one of Jeff's favorite games, 625 tip East. Why is that? The Lopes of Grand Canyon going up against Iowa. Set the table, 15.5. We open up down the 14. If we look at the over-under, rising slightly, 144.5 up to 145. Is Iowa going to roll? Look, hey, Iowa's got a couple players that say, not my NCAA, and I don't want to play. And by the way, real quick, Jeff, 30-second tangent. We can't get too far off, but Geo Baker played last night. They won, and everybody was really happy. Does he sit out the next game? Like, which game does he sit out?
Yeah, what happened
here?
to the boycott?
Yeah.
I thought you weren't owned, but that's always the thing about and I've always will keep saying this. Boycotts are not meant to be easy. They're going to put you in bad positions.
Yes. You have put it this way, Jeff. Yes. You have to ruin yourself so the next guy can actually thrive, and nobody's willing to do that.
You have to basically, and I mean this in all respect, you have to be willing to die for what you're doing. Okay.
Yes.
You have to be
ruin
willing.
Your life, ruin your finances so the next guy can eat.
Yeah.
Yes. There you
and
go.
That's where it's so fraudulent. Like it is so Geo Baker, all these guys. Oh, we're on. But you played. You didn't.
Who is it? Bohannon? Who's the guy yelling? It's Bohannon yelling for Iowa, right? He's another one.
And he'll be right out there today playing.
Yes.
Like it's it's almost like we hate this type of music, but we're gonna go listen to it. It's like a troll. A prime example. The trolls are a lot like these guys. Trolls will say, "You suck, you fat law," all that stuff. But they literally watch everything I do.
Howard Stern effect.
You literally support everything. Like you're killing your notion. That guy sucks, but I'm going to listen to everything he does. It's weird. If you really hate something, you really want something to change, you just don't support it. So yeah, that whole milk carton thing was it didn't.
I always like to go off on that. It's pretty funny. But Iowa Grand Canyon, Jeff, thoughts? Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't need to talk much about this game. I've talked all week about. I thought this was a bad matchup for Iowa. I will continue, and the numbers agreed. I'm Donnie. This number's moved down. 15 was available earlier in the week. I think that's what I got with the contest. I do have that in the contest. I think that I will continue to write home that I think it's a tough matchup. I think Iowa will probably escape. I don't think it's going to be easy, though. Grand Canyon is really good on defense. They have 3 big kids. And I wonder about how Garza will deal with that. If I know anything about Garza, I'm sure one of those bigs will get in foul trouble. That's just how the NCAA will swing it. But I think they play at a really deliberate pace. They play at a pace where it is conducive to holding onto the ball. I think they're pretty efficient, and they play great defense. I'll lean on that. It's all about matchups in the tournament. I don't think this is a great matchup for Iowa. I'll lean on Grand Canyon. I've liked this game all week.
And a play for me is not a side because I'm not going to lay 14.5. I'm just not going to do it in the NCAA tournament at this point. And I don't have enough ammo on Grand Canyon to fire away with that. But I am going to do the same thing that I've been going through again. I'm going to take the under 145 in this game. I'm going to sit on a lot of these and say, hey, these teams can't make shots and just give me a little bit of a slow first half. I know Iowa's very efficient on offense. But just looking at the way Grand Canyon can play defense, give me a couple missed shots here, slow it down a little bit. I'm going to take the under in that game, 145. To get one game that's really fun to talk about, we're going to go now. Maryland and Connecticut. So if we set the table for this one, Jeff, opened up at -2 for Connecticut. Now we're seeing -3 at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Over under 130.5 drops to 129.5. Now immediately look at, hey, UConn, they can score. Both of these teams are really good defenses and not all that fast. Like you see when you think of Connecticut with all the athletes they have in the guard play, you figured they would go fast. It's not really the case. So looking at this game coming in, I'm leaning towards Maryland, not winning the game, because I like to go against the grain a little bit. I think most people are probably looking at this, Jeff, like, hey, book night's back. UConn should be able to roll and win this game. I'm actually going to go a team total over, and not because I really like the over, but it sits so low, Jeff. I'm going to go Maryland's team total over 63.5 in this game, roughly 30.5 around that number. I'll lean on that, maybe a close game at the end, some fouls. That's the way I'm going here. But I do think UConn wins this game. I just wasn't able to push myself to lay that 3, Jeff. What are you thinking here on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of we talked about not complicating certain games, kind of ride with your gut on what you like. I'm gonna go with Connecticut here. I'm gonna trust the team that I think is just legitimate. I like Book Night a lot. Defensively, I think UConn is elite. I think everything about them is legit, and I'll gladly fade Mark Turgeon in a ridiculous.
You hate the hate is real.
Yeah, he sucks. I mean, he doesn't win. He has no talent. I'm done with Turgeon. I was never on Turgeon. Yeah, I'm fading them. I like UConn. I think they take care of business. And I don't think it's that close. I don't think Maryland belongs in this tournament. So yeah, I'm out. I want to comment on a question here, or a post. I've enjoyed doing this show. A lot of people come in here just positive. We have a good time with things. And it's no surprise the one person that has come in here. Why do you have to come in here and say that stupid stuff, man?
He knows how to get. He knows how to poke the bear, man. He's poking the bear.
Dude. Like, go to a Trump rally and go away, please.
Oh, come on.
Why do you have to come in here and act like that? We're having a show. We're talking about games, and this cat wants to come in here. I'm a little concerned. Dude, I've been doing this for 11 years.
Come on. And that's why he got you to say this. He got you to say
11 years I've been doing this, man. What are you talking about, even, honestly? Like, what is Jeff is riding Donnie's coattails. What is that even?
He's writing this in sarcasm, Jeff. Come on.
He's a jerk off. He always has.
Oh, boy. Well, all right, let's keep it moving here and move down this list, because this is a game I'm actually really interested in. And this is one that everybody's writing off again. Remember Villanova, Jeff? I think you said Villanova by double digits. Check the final score. Villanova by double digits. Hey, Colgate, oh, my God, net ranking. They're going to be in the Final Four. Everybody who uses a computer had Colgate in the final game, and they get knocked out round one. Here's another interesting one. We're trying to write off Virginia because of COVID. Who has it? They haven't practiced. Ohio is going to be sneaky. But as I look at this game, just to give a pick real quick, and we'll circle around on what we actually like. We know Ohio wants to push it. It's their only chance. If Ohio walks the ball up court and lets Virginia settle in, there's no way they're going to be able to compete in this game. So I think that adds more possessions for me with UVA, and I know they're very slow. But again, you're playing a team that wants to get up and down, doesn't play fantastic defense like Virginia does. I'm going to take a team total, Jeff, over with UVA at 68.5. I think they can get to 70 on Ohio. What is your thought process on this game played in Bloomington?
We don't know who's going to play, right? I mean,
Well, it hasn't come out. It can't be anybody serious at this point, because it would be out by now.
Yeah, you would hope. Yeah. I think it's I think you're on the right track, honestly, because Ohio just can't stop anybody at the rim. I mean, they are really dreadful defensively, But
a big drop also, -10 to -7 at FanDuel, 132.5 to 130.5. So you're getting drops on both of those ends. It's interesting, because I do agree with the line move, because there's a lot of unknowns with Virginia, but I don't think it's a big player, because we would have heard if it was a big player by now. Honestly, I really believe that.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. There's not a lot of wiggle room, because Virginia is not a real deep team. You kind of want everybody, because that's how it works with them. This is a tough game, and I said I don't want to really play it just because I don't know what Virginia is going to be. I think they'll ultimately win. I lean on them ultimately covering. I think Ohio's become a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? In vogue, to maybe think they're going to pull off the upset. I'm not really sure if I buy it. It's so tough to prepare for Virginia until you actually get to the game, and it's so slow. And if you go down by 12, it's going to be really tough to come back or do anything. And that's where I worry about Ohio here. I think, again, we're leveling up. We're playing a team. And Donnie, for someone, and Charles Barkley is not someone that I go to for basketball information. I mean, he, especially or particularly college, he really doesn't know a ton. But him and Kenny Smith both made a comment yesterday that I actually agree wholeheartedly with.
What was it?
Has been a coach that has dealt with more weird situations than Bennett. Like you lose to a 16, but then you come right back and you
win a title.
Yeah, like you deal with coronavirus. Like I feel like he is the guy that I kind of want directing my team.
He's calm. He's calm. Yeah. Calm demeanor.
Keep in mind, Kenny Smith also said yesterday that Creighton was going to win because they're playing
Yes.
really great basketball right now.
Didn't they also say Greg McDermott was the coach? They still thought, and they said,
Greg Marshall. No,
Greg Marshall.
Charles said that.
Greg Marshall.
Charles said, yeah, I really like Greg Marshall. He's a great guy. And it's like,
it's great. I love that, though. Honestly, I laugh at that. And also, I know a lot of people are going to hate the dancing little meme guys up there. You probably hated that, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, I did see that. I don't mind that. I don't mind the little stuff. I don't like that.
People hate on it.
That dumb AT&T lady, I don't like that.
Come on, man. The Lily's a national treasure. How dare you?
But I'm going to lean towards Virginia here. I do want to comment on a couple of comments here. I want to say, apologize for going off on that tangent. I've had that issue with that. That guy and I have sparred back and forth for a long time. I don't ever know when he's serious because he has been known to do lame stuff like that. But a couple of comments. Canada 204 says, miss ya, Nadu.
Where did he go? What happened?
I think he's a Barstool guy. He probably came over. Thanks.
No. I mean, like, where did the dude go? I mean,
I'm still here.
Camera right in front of me.
Yeah, I'm still here. I guess maybe he misses the show I had. I thank you, man. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah, we had a great time doing that show. Nick Weatherall, first time here. You both are great. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate you, man. Vegas says, why did you bring up Trump rally? Because that guy goes to them. It was just nothing wrong with that. I'm just relating it to him. He's a fan of Donald Trump. And then Joe Kidd says, Shy Picks versus Nadu reminds me of the old Yeah, well, but I don't know. That was a long time ago. Yeah, we've been he's went at it with me for a while, that guy. So, fact that he's still here, though, we support that. Thank you.
There you go. See that?
Thank you for watching.
Good guy. Yeah.
Ultimately, the Howard Stern effect. I went on.
Maybe one day we'll share a deep dish pizza. You never know. But let's keep moving down the list. By the way, Ohio, Virginia, your final thoughts on that game? Because, again, I took the UVA team total over.
Yeah, and I think our plays are kind of similar. I think Virginia will find a way to kind of win. They did struggle with Kent earlier in the year, a MAC team. So it's a tough game because you don't know who that player is. I would ultimately tell you to probably just avoid it. But if you're making me give you a selection, I lean on Virginia.
Over 300 people now watching here live on a Saturday morning. Some are going to watch the replay. Hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up, man. Let's get that thumbs up to over 100. That would be a beautiful thing here on a Saturday as we get started in day 2 of March Madness. Missouri and Oklahoma, Jeff. Setting the table on this one. Opened up. Oklahoma -2, Jeff. Let's blink right now. -1.5 Oklahoma. No. -1.5 on Missouri. Opens up at 141 as a total, down to 139.5. Missouri is a team I treat a lot, Jeff, as their SEC brethren, LSU. Extremely talented, waiting for them to put it together. And if they do, they can advance. Some issues for Oklahoma as their second leading scorer is not going to play. Therefore, that line movement. I still do think Missouri wins this basketball game, but I'm going to keep on the under train for me here, Jeff. I'm going under 139.5 in this basketball game. What are you looking at here?
Donnie's doing the old thing you don't want to do as a stockbroker. You want to get involved with rallies before they happen, not ride the rallies that have already happened.
I don't have any choice. Like, I'm trying to be fair here because, old me would say, hey, me and the crew got down 4 days ago in this game, but it's fun to just do it live in the moment. And I can't, like, if FanDuel has what it has, I have to go with it.
I say that because I saw a couple of people in here saying that the first half unders yesterday killed it.
Yeah.
And now they're going to ride it today. And it's like, well, you probably should have did it yesterday. And
yeah, see, I had a couple issues where the first half didn't treat me all that well. And the second half was like, come on, guys, you're really going to do this to me?
Yeah.
But don't we know, Jeff, the ebbs and flows, it doesn't always work out that way. So
No, I agree with you. As far as this game, I actually like Missouri. I actually liked it before Harmon, and I like it after Harmon. I think Harmon is a major issue, not having him. He's one of the highest usage rates on this team. He's really kind of the Swiss Army knife on both ends. He's the guy that's going to kind of get you a shot late in the shot clock, kind of create. And he's a really good wing defender, a guy that you really need to have. He has the best shooting percentage on this team. Donnie, we have an issue for Oklahoma because Oklahoma has just continued to commit to Brady Manick. And Brady Manick is great, but he's a mess on the defensive end. He is a complete and utter mess. And I think that's a problem in this game as well. I like Tillman. I've had my issues with Missouri. I've had my good things with Missouri, but I think ultimately not having Harmon, kind of like with Georgia Tech, I think it's just going to hurt them. They'll hang around for a while, but yeah. I think Missouri is the better team. I think offensively, I think they make some shots today. They've had some good depth. I've enjoyed watching their depth, Missouri. I'm going to lean on the bullish in the Midwest to get the win. I like this one.
Ken says, question on games you are close to betting but hold off on, do you live bet if you leaned over? It's absolutely 1,000% correct, Ken. And even if you're an NBA bettor or a college basketball bettor, if you go into the game and you say, let's say particular this one, Jeff, 139.5, right? So if we say we really like the under, why not wait a couple minutes if they get hot in the first, before the first TV timeout, and that number bumps from 139 to 144.5. Now you're like, perfect. Now's the time to jump in because the scoring might slow down. It's a great question you bring up. And also when you try to look at FanDuel, those numbers are so hard and fast. Like you can get whatever you want immediately. You don't have to wait 37 seconds before when you press your button to try to get in. 3 more 3-pointers went down and they accept it. Coming back in. It's great theater on that, Jeff. Talk about it from yourself, from a betting perspective, where you might not like a game, but 5 minutes in, you might really like this game now.
Yeah, I think
I do it a lot.
No, you're right. And but Donnie, when you looked at the Georgia Tech Loyola game yesterday, when Moses Wright was said to be out, did you really think Georgia Tech could ultimately win? You knew that was going to be the difference, probably.
No, I lost that game. One of the games I lost, I took the 5.5. That was just a fade of the line movement and nothing else. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately going to be the same thing here. There are things about Oklahoma that bother me. I think Austin Reeves can really kind of melt against really and that's one of the reasons they struggled late in the year. They don't have enough. And losing to Devian Harmon, it's almost like with the Sixers when they lost Jimmy Butler. They didn't have a guy to go to, and it hurt them late in games. And
yeah.
I think Manick's going to be a mess against Tillman. I think Tillman's going to really do some good things. So yeah, I'm gonna lean on the Tigers here. Joe Kidd, I've had my beefs with Nadu and Rightside, but now I'm more mature and listen in when I can. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
We're all the same. Now I'm the same way now. We must be a little bit older because Jeff's still younger in his days. I'm in my 40s, so I'm just too old for it anymore. I'm just a happy-go-lucky guy. So for the most part.
Well, I will say that though, Donnie. I think it's important to say you have to live for your honor, man. When people come in and say stuff like I haven't grown my profile, I worked at the biggest media company in the country. What are you talking about? What does that even mean?
But see, that is used to when I was in my younger days, that would get under my skin. But now I just say
it gets under my skin because it's not true. It's stupid.
Yeah, but you got to kill sarcasm with sarcasm. That's where I enjoy life now. Sarcasm is my favorite outlet.
You definitely do. Well, look at this guy, Michael Gambino from the Gambino crime family. Good stuff. I didn't like Nadu at first. But you can't beat his analysis and insight. Thank you, Michael. Shout out to Michael Gambino.
Is he a Paisan with that name, huh?
Oh, yeah. He's at the Bergen Hunting Fish Club today. For sure.
Yep. Amen, man. Amen. Let's keep going here down the list. This game now. Look, I don't know what side you want in this game, Jeff, and I don't know how much pain you want, but I'm signing up for pain in this game. That's Gonzaga, Norfolk. We don't have to get into the numbers, do we? Looking at, a 33.5. It's now 33, 154. We know Gonzaga goes fast. It doesn't matter who's playing defense. Just about every shot goes in, but here's how I'm playing this game. It's more emotional for me because if I look at Gonzaga, Mark Few's a nice guy, right? Norfolk State, hey, man. Happy-go-lucky. We're in the tournament. We got to play Gonzaga. Maybe we'll get some selfies at the end of the game with Kispert and the crew and say, hey, thanks for playing us. I'm taking an under in this game, Jeff, and it's Gonzaga's team total under. It's not 75. It's not 85. It's not 90. It's 93.5. I'm just banking on the Nick Saban MAC rule, right, where he can score 150 points against the MAC team, but he doesn't. And I think Gonzaga has grandeurs of winning a national championship, not scoring 100 against Norfolk and embarrassing this team. There's nothing behind it is what I'm saying. Not that Gonzaga can't score every trip down and their second five can blow the doors off Norfolk. I'm looking at Mark Few right now saying, you're a nice guy. You don't really have to step into this cage and just take this team out 100-50, or do you, Jeff?
I mean, do you want to bet against that? Do you want to take Norfolk here?
I am betting against it in a way.
Yeah, I'm not. I think this is a disastrous match. I love Robert Jones. I mean, he's a great coach. I love the MEAC. It's kind of that David and Goliath type of story. They have no shot. But this is a dreadful matchup for Norfolk. I mean, Robert Jones, Donnie, will zone you. That's the last thing you want to do against Gonzaga. And there, we're going to pick you apart. I felt like, to be real frank, I don't think Norfolk did anything real well. App State just couldn't make shots, Donnie. I think they started 0 for 20 from three. I mean, they just couldn't make shots. It wouldn't surprise me if this is like 97-50 or something. We didn't see, like, you look at even the yesterday, like Illinois didn't win by, like, I don't think either team won by 30, Baylor or Illinois. I think it was
Illinois end up. I think Illinois covered though, didn't they?
Yeah, but this is a big number, 33. We know Gonzaga all year they play teams that, like, they don't really care about beating. But Donnie, I want to go back to kind of their non-conference season against bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern State 95-57, Northern Arizona 88-50, Dixie State 112-67, Portland, or even in conference, 116-88. So, what'd you say? That you said team total over for Gonzaga? Utah?
Team total under 93.5, which basically means they got to get to the century mark. But I see what you're saying there. But I'm looking in the tournament more or less. You don't need style points, and you're not playing on a Tuesday, and your next game is a Saturday. That's the only way. And again, this doesn't have anything to do with statistical anomalies and what they're doing. This is just trying to have a feel for picking every game and saying, I know they can get 100. But, hey, maybe you call off the dogs with 5 minutes to go. This one of the, hey, let me put the deepest guy on my bench in because he actually can tell his kids he played in a NCAA tournament game. That's it. That's the only cap I have. It has nothing to do with stats.
I mean, Donnie, is the best value on this game first shot of the game made by Gonzaga plus 125? They definitely scored first. I mean, they're not – I don't
about a deep three ball from Norfolk to start the game.
No, things ever, but this screams like 9-0 early to me.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't make those bets. It just kind of jumped out. Plus one. I mean, just throwing that out there. I don't think Norfolk scores working out, but whatever. No, look, ultimately, I'm gonna lay the 33. I think Gonzaga. I just think this is a bad matchup for Norfolk. To be real.
I think their first half was like 48.5 or something. Jeff, is their team total like 50 spot? Man.
Yeah,
some of these numbers are outrageous.
Hey, by the way, Donnie, whoa. Didn't we made a lot of money. Remember what we made money on in the early when we started this show?
What
was the first thing we bet? Gonzaga first half team total.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they get out. And honestly, if you're looking to take a team total, wouldn't it be the first half? They're not going to put the brakes on for any moment in the first half. They might in the second half. So if you're looking at a team total, let's just say you like the team total over. Don't you think they would need 50 at the break to get that? Right.
All right. I'm playing that. I'm going to play that. I like both. I played that in the conference tournaments. I'm going to play it here as well. Gonzaga is the number one team in the country in the first half. So, Donnie, on average, they were hitting 40 against every team. Now you're playing Norfolk.
Yeah.
If it doesn't hit 50, so be it.
That's what I'm saying. It has to. If you want the total, it has to get to 50 in the first half. It just has to. I would be surprised if they scored 38 points in the first half and then on their way to 100 because you think of the game's out of reach anyway, but we can see
I'm going to go with that.
Things.
Team total over in the first half, Gonzaga over 46.5. That's what I'm
All right, next up here, UCLA and BYU. We saw UCLA with a nice overtime winner. Johnny Juzang banged up with his ankle. They say he's going to give it a go, but you need all hands on deck. If you're banged up even a little bit in this game, you're not getting the 5 days rest. You get 36 hours, 48 hours. You got to be back out there on the basketball court. What are we looking at here? Because we anticipate a closer game. I like BYU. Great inside-outside game. But is UCLA in the Pac-12 just disrespected? And here they come to knock out another team from the WCC and get after it. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, I like BYU here. I'll lay the 4. I think this is a really tough spot for UCLA. Not real prep time here for Mick Cronin. I thought UCLA, let's be honest, Donnie, probably shouldn't have won that game. They won it. Good for Mick Cronin. I love Mick. He's a great guy. I'm glad that they were able to get the job done. But Mark Pope, as we know with them, really good game planner. And Donnie, with BYU, they are so big down low. I just don't, without Jalen Smith or Jalen Hill and some of the bigs, I think this is going to be a really tough matchup. I don't really, Tyler Campbell's a good player, but, weirdly enough, BYU always has really good guard play. They're hard to watch. Like Brandon Averett, the BYU guard, is one of the most maddening players in the country because he just dribbles way too much, but ultimately he gets the job done for them. So, yeah, I think this is a tough game plan, tough game to prepare for. BYU has also, Donnie, made this very clear, and I always go back to this when I bet BYU teams as favorites. Mark Pope looks at KenPom. He looks at analytics. He wants to win by as many points as he can. So anytime I lay a number, I have no real issue. They are going to keep their foot on the gas always. So if this game's 7 or 8, they're going to try to drive it up to 12, which is what you want to do late in the game. I like BYU. I think they cover this game. Good run for UCLA. Just a tough year with injuries.
And I'm going to compound that as well, Jeff. My play on this game is actually BYU's team total over 71.5. I think they'll have the lead. I think they'll make their free throws. And just taking a look from a productivity standpoint, Jeff, very good three-point shooting team, very good inside the arc. Make your free throws. You got bigs down low. Your offense, get some offensive rebounds with harms. I like the way that. I do think, honestly, BYU wins this game, but I'm more confident that BYU will be in the 70s in this game, and I think that's going to play out that way. So that's the way I'm going to look at it here for us. 2 games left on the card, 789, 790, Abeline Christian. As the good old song used to go, Jeff, Abeline, I can fly. Right? I get it right there on that?
No. Close.
Close. Yeah, but your boys, Texas, and we know you have a big ticket sitting on Texas. It would be a massive upset if one team from Texas
be a real shame
on
if Texas lose here.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Jeff, Purdue and Texas.
See, I knew you were second fiddle to Donnie, you loser.
Yep. Look at that. He just picked the 4,500. You can say, what did you expect it to win the tournament when it doesn't? Anyway, here, I digress into this. I'm looking from I like Abilene Christian, I do. And I think they have the ability to score some points in this game. Do I think they can win the game? No. But from a standpoint of offensive efficiency and an overall good basketball team, they certainly have it. If you watch the Southland Conference, I don't know why you would be watching it outside of me and Jeff, but it's a fun conference for me to bet and actually take a look at some of these teams. I'm going to go the team total over 65.5 for Abilene Christian. Efficient on offense, make some shots. I think they can hang around in this game and get into the 60s. Jeff, what are you looking at here between Texas and Abilene Christian?
Yeah, I don't think they hang around. I think I thought this number was too low when I saw it. Like I saw 8.5 and I was like, why is this only 8.5? Yeah. This just screams by 10 or more. I thought, when you look at Abilene, they struggled against a team like Arkansas, which is a similar build to Texas, very athletic, very good as far as, just faster, stronger, more athletic. I just look at Texas. They're playing too well for me to go against them. I think they're really in a zone right now. I just think that the thing that sets them up over the top over other years, the guard play is just really competent. It's a veteran. It's just experience laden. There's a ton of experience. I just think the kind of the length and everything bothers Abilene. Texas played kind of a similar team from a similar conference early in the year. UT Rio Grande Valley beat them 91-55. This is a Texas team that's not just a really long and defense team. They can score as well. So. Yeah, I'm gonna lay the points here, and I think Texas probably wins by double digits. Not one of the stronger bets of the day, but I identified this one. I thought it was a little low, the number.
It does look a little bit low because you have most people don't even know Abilene Christian even exists. Like, the Incarnate Words? Like, they have some odd names down there in the Southland, but
yeah,
it is. And they are a good basketball team, as it turns out. Stephen F. Austin, we've seen them have some success in the tournament over the years as well. But it's an interesting game. I'm trying to pick each one. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a little trivia question quickly.
Go.
Who is Sam Houston?
I don't know. I actually think I read about it like 2 weeks ago, and I just can't remember. Who is Sam?
Sam Houston was an American soldier and politician. He was an important leader in the Texas Revolution. So he was.
I'm assuming they named Houston after Sam Houston, right? So
I believe so. Yeah. He died in Huntsville, which is where Sam Houston is. He was a big part of the, Alamo and things like that. So, Donnie, crazy enough, he knew Davy Crockett. That's why.
Yes, come on, man. Put the raccoon hat on and get after it, Jeff. By the way, go. It is a great Disney movie. Will you get up off the stage like R. Kelly if Texas loses today? Be like, y'all killing me out here.
Yeah, we can't reference him on this show. I'm not going to.
Interview was fantastic.
No, he's a weird cat, man, though. All right.
Next up, 775, 776. Next up, I should say last up here, Jeff, VCU, Oregon. I like VCU, and I'm actually taking VCU with the 5.5 points to hang around in this game.
Are you really?
Yes, I'm picking every game, and I have to say, this one's probably going to win because I'm the least confident of all 16 teams I picked, Jeff. This is the least confident I am in a side, and here I am taking the side because I like VCU and what they do. But yes, Bones Highlands is fantastic, but from a pure offensive perspective of like hitting the open jumper, doing the right things, VCU is more helter-skelter, and it doesn't really match up with Oregon, but yeah, I'm taking VCU 5.5. What am I going to do?
Yeah, this is where, like, when you look at odds makers, you say, like, they're really good at what they do. They're really good at what they – this is exactly where I put this game. You know, even the total, like, I felt like this was, like, first to 70 wins, like 70-67 or something. Like, that was kind of where I had it. I think – do you just say that Bones Highland's the best player? He'll put them on his back and maybe the press
That's what they need
a little bit?
That's what they need.
But I also worry and say, like, with VCU – they just can't shoot the ball. And that's ultimately why they lost against Bonaventure. I mean, Oregon's going to zone you. They're going to do what Syracuse did and say, basically, look, make threes. You're not coming into the lane. We're fully healthy now. This is a really difficult game to bet, really difficult. Because I do see the value on both sides. I think your VCU has got the best player, and I think they can, defend and keep this game close. But the slightest of leans to the under. I kind of see this game at like, 69, 65 or something like that.
It's the last game on the card. That's the one that I look at. It's like, boy, I don't want to pick this game, but I am picking every game, and that's how I'm getting down on this. And I'm not going to be surprised. Like, why did I pick VCU, man? I mean, they can't get up and down the court. They're down 10 late. They're getting strapped in. They're fouling all over the place. But I'm going to stick VCU in this game here as the last game.
I'm glad this game is the last game on the card, and there's other games I can watch because this is not a game I'm going to watch. It's tough. Donnie, can I comment before we go on one thing that I hate about the NCAA tournament?
Go.
And it's really the only thing I hate. And I'm actually, after this show, I'm going to do it. I hate that they put the scores on the top of the game.
Yes, I talked about it last night.
I hate it.
1 million thousand.
Like, I'm going to get something and tape it on my TV so I don't see it. Like, I can't take it anymore. I hate watching games because I have to see that.
Yes,
I really don't want to see it.
Because us gamblers are like, I'm watching another game because I bet the other game, and I don't want to see the score when I need to cover 7 like Liberty, and it's a 7-point game with 2 minutes to go. I don't want to see it. I don't need to see the pop-up. I don't need to see there's 3 seconds left and be like, who has the ball? Who has the ball? I turned it off because you know why, Jeff? I don't want to see who has the ball. Why
How do you turn it off?
I don't know, man.
I'm getting like something and like putting it up there because I for anyone that knows me, like, I tell people that contact me all the time, please do not contact me during games to tell me what's going on. I do not want to know. And now goofs will hit me up about it. So I'm not going to be on Twitter today.
Off Twitter, we are done for the show today, Jeff. Awesome stuff here in the Hoops Betting Hour with Jeff Nadu, powered by PicksWise and presented by the FanDuel Sportsbook. Looking forward to today, Jeff. We're about an hour, under 2 hours away from tip on another long day, and we deserve it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm sure ultimately people ask what we really like. Keep in mind, we went over every game. We gave you selections pretty much for every game. I know at least one of us gave you selection for every game. I think there was one or two where I didn't love them, but I think it's going to be a fun day. There's some definite edges. I think we found some good ones, and we'll see how it goes. I'd be very happy, Donnie, if Grand Canyon can find a way to just hang around. Texas just kind of has no issue.
Yeah.
Eastern Washington does some good things offensively. I'll be pretty happy with that. So let's go. Let's have a good day. By the way, Donnie, we'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. And I also want to tell anyone that's interested, that's in the area, I will be at Philly Live tomorrow at FanDuel Book in South Philadelphia after the show all day. Donnie, maybe, I don't know if you'll be stopping by, but I'll be there. So if you're going to be in the city, you want to see me, I will be at Philly Live all day watching the games after the show. So make sure you come by and say hello. All right, Donnie, tomorrow we'll be back, 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll relive the carnage or the successes from today. You all have a great day. Enjoy the hoops. I am the big man on campus. He's Donnie Wrightshead. Make sure you subscribe. Go check out PicksWise. Go check out FanDuel. We're out. We'll see you Sunday. Later.